everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we will be completing in today's video. If you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the color palette. I have it linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. Just open up the file that downloads and it'll automatically pop into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. I will also put the canvas dimensions, color profile, and layers needed on the screen here and in the description below so that you can use those to get your canvas set up. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we will get started. So here's the color palette that we will be working with today. This would be a really fun one for you to experiment with different colors if you want to, a different background color, a different color where the red is, and maybe some different plain colors. You can do that if you would like. Otherwise, I love the colors that I ended up with as well. So let's just go ahead and get started. We are going to set our background color by opening up our layer menu. Click on this background color layer and click the first color on the first row of the color palette to set it to that. Perfect. Now we are going to be on layer 1 and we are first going to draw the main shape of our ticket. So we are going to use Symmetry for this. So let's go to our gear icon. Under Canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide, click Edit Drawing Guide, click Symmetry. And under options, we are actually going to do quadrant symmetry to start with. So select that and you should see a cross and then go ahead and click done. Okay, now on our layer menu, layer 1 should say assisted. If it does not, click on it and turn on drawing assist. Otherwise, we are going to grab the second color on the top row of our color palette and we are going to grab the monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. I have it set to about 30% and I am going to create the rounded corners of our ticket first, and it's going to be longer this way than this way. So from my center vertical line here, I'll go over quite a ways, so I'll be a little closer to the right side of my screen, but then I'll only go up a little ways from this horizontal center line. And I am just going to draw a circular shape, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle, and then let it go. You can click Edit Shape if you need to move it around. I might make mine a little bit wider from top to bottom, but still about out this far. And then go ahead and fill those in, like so. Then we're going to zoom in on the right side here and we are going to connect these two together with a straight line. So right on the very edge of the circle here, I'm going to draw a straight line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. Let that go, click Edit Shape to adjust it. We want to line up the line right perfectly here with the side of our circle so it's not sticking out at all. We want it to be a nice smooth transition. So move it around until you get it in a good spot there, like so. Then click our brush tool again and we'll do the same thing across the bottom. So we'll start on the bottom at the very edge of the circle here. Draw a line straight to the left, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. Again, click Edit Shape and we are just going to move it a little bit to get it a little bit better. Sometimes it's hard to see on the side that has the blue dot, but the other side does not. So it's kind of easier to see sometimes over there. So move it around as much as you need to get it in a good spot. And then we will just go ahead and fill in the center to fill in our entire shape here. And then go through and just make sure that you don't have any gaps where you filled your color in around the edges. And fill those in with your brush if you need to. Otherwise, we will move right along. Now we're going to make a few little cutouts on our ticket, again in the shape of a circle. So we'll still just be on this layer. We'll still have it be assisted with symmetry, but we are going to change the symmetry. So we are first going to go to our gear icon, click Edit Drawing Guide, and I am first going to switch it to vertical symmetry only. So select vertical and then click Done. Again, make sure your layer says assisted. And now we're going to grab our eraser tool. I also want my eraser tool on the monoline brush, so go ahead and find that if you need to. I have it set to about 50%. And since it's vertical, we're going to work on the left and right side. So I am going to start on the right side here and just erase a circular shape right on the edge. Hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle. Resize it a little bit if you want to, but we'll also click Edit Shape and you can resize it with that as well. But we also just want to place it nicely right on the edge so that there's just a nice cutout there with at the most like half of a circle, maybe even a little bit less than that. And just try to center it as best you can from top to bottom just by eyeballing it. And then we'll go back with our eraser tool again and we will erase what's left here. Okay. Now we're going to switch our symmetry tool again. So going to the gear icon, click Edit Drawing Guide, and we are going to switch it to horizontal now, and then click Done. And now we are going to, same thing, use our eraser and erase a circle, but we're going to do this a little closer to the left side than the right side, or than the middle. So we'll start about here, and I will erase a circular shape. Again, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen, adjust the size a little bit. Click Edit Shape and you can adjust the size more, but we do want it to be maybe a little bit smaller of a circle than our first one. And again, we'll just kind of place it maybe a little bit closer to the left. This side will just be right in the middle of our circles here will be the smaller side of our ticket with our barcode, and the rest will have our text and our planes. So somewhere about right here. Again, just about a half circle showing, if not a little bit less than that. And then you can erase it manually with your eraser, or there's another little trick that I have. We can grab the selection tool, set it to automatic, turn off color fill. Mine's always on because I use that so much, but make sure color fill is turned off. And then go ahead and just tap this outer circle area that we want to erase. Tap both of them. Click the arrow tool to select them and drag them off the screen, and now they're gone. You might need to zoom in and there might just be the teeniest little bit of a wispy again to erase that it didn't pick up, but that's another little trick rather than manually erasing it all. So now we have our main ticket shape done, and we can add all of our little fun details. So first, we're going to change the color on this left side to be red. So we are going to go to our layer menu on this layer, click on it and turn on alpha lock. Grab the third color on the top row, the red color, and grab our selection tool, set it to rectangle with color fill turned on. And we are going to start on the outside of the ticket here on the left. At the bottom is what I'm doing, and then we'll drag it and cover this whole little left side, stopping about halfway through our circles here, as close as you can get it. So it cuts it right in the middle of those and fills it in with red like so. Okay, now we'll make our barcode. So let's go to our layer menu, add a new layer, grab the fourth color on the top row, grab the selection tool with rectangle and color fill turned on still, and we're just going to make a nice rectangle here on this side of the ticket. So make a nice big rectangle about like this. Perfect. We are going to grab our eraser tool again. Again, make sure it's on the monoline brush, and I'm going to still have it at about 50%. And I am just going to go through and erase a bunch of horizontal lines. So erase a line, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal, let it go, do it again, and again and again and again. And we'll just kind of vary the spaces between. So some thinner, some thicker, just kind of varied all the way down till we get to the end. And I'll do one final one like so. So that is our barcode. Okay, so now we are going to make a dotted perforated line on the edge right here to show that you could tear the ticket there. And to do so, we are going to use a custom brush, but no, I did not give you the custom brush. We are just going to make it on the fly. It's the easiest custom brush ever. So we're going to go to our brush menu, open that up, and you'll see my other ones here that I use, these dotted lines. But to do so, we are just going to, on our monoline brush, our main monoline brush, under the calligraphy tab, we are going to slide to the left and hit duplicate. So now I have a third monoline brush. It has this little fancy symbol here that shows that it's like a duplicate brush. So leave your main monoline brush alone. We don't want to mess that one up. But on this new monoline brush that popped up, click on it to open it. And under stroke path, the only thing that we're going to do is increase the spacing a lot until we get a nice dotted line there. So I will increase mine to about 80%. And then that's it. Leave everything else alone and click done. Now we are going to use this brush. Maybe set the size still to just 50%. And we are going to use this brush and just draw a line. Hold it down. Touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. And then just kind of stretch it out so that it meets the other side about where it was before. If you need to, you can click edit shape and you can adjust the size of the line, and you can move it around if you need to, but try to just line it up right in the middle where these two colors meet, like so. And that is our nice perforated line, and now you have a fun dotted brush that you can use for things. Anyway, now we will move on and we will draw our planes. So we are just going to draw one plane and then duplicate it for the other two. But we will go to our layer menu, add a new layer, click on it and turn on drawing assist. We are going to use this horizontal symmetry line for this. And then grab our first color on the second row. We are going to switch back to our regular monoline brush here under the calligraphy tab at about 30%. And to make the plane, I'm just going to start in kind of the middle here, right on the line in this white area. And we are just going to start by drawing the nose, and we're just going to draw a straight line and add a slant like this, hold it down, click edit shape and make them meet at the tip. So just adjust your line a little bit right here, like so. Okay, and then again, this is just going to be a whole series of lines, of straight lines, and then we'll just need to make them all meet up very nicely. So that's what we're going to do this whole time. So now we are going to start at this part right here, draw a straight line going back, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal, maybe about this long, and then again click edit shape, and I am going to adjust it so that these two meet together very nicely here. Okay, back to our brush. From this point we're going to draw another line in, but not all the way to the middle, at kind of a slant, hold that down. Again, edit shape and meet those up nicely there. Then from this point, we are going to go back out for the tail, hold it down. I don't need to edit shape and make them meet up, but if you do, go for it. And then from this point, we will go in to the center. Again, a slight slant back inwards like this till they meet in the middle. We're going to fill the whole shape in, so mine overlapped here, and that's totally okay. Again, edit the shape if you need to. And then now we'll just add the wings. So we are going to start just a little bit from this straight line here where it meets our nose, a little bit down from that. Draw a line out, add a slant like this. Now at the end of this, I am going to make a circle. Hold that down, touch my finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle. Again, click edit shape and make it meet up very smoothly with this first line here. This is just to give our wings a little bit of extra room at the bottom so that it's not just another straight line straight off of this. So that just gives them a little bit of a buffer, and then I'll start on this side of the circle now and draw back to the middle like so. Again, edit the shape to meet up nicely with the side of our circle here. And now we can fill everything in. And this is our plane shape. So make any adjustments if you need to, smooth anything out if you need to. But this is our plane. It's obviously way too big. We'll decrease the size of it. But now that we have that done, I will make the other ones. So let's just grab our arrow tool, make sure it's set to uniform, and we are just going to drop the size quite a bit. We're going to have 3 of them going down, so we might need to make them pretty small. And then I'm just going to nestle it a little bit lower than halfway because we'll have a bigger text right here, smaller text across the bottom. So it is going to be a little under halfway through my white part here, but about like this looks good. Then we'll go to our layer menu, make a duplicate of this layer, click on it, set it to alpha lock, grab our second color on the second row, the darker teal. Go back to our layer menu on our new plane layer that we put alpha lock on, click on it and click fill layer to make it darker. Click the arrow tool, and I'm going to make sure that magnetics and snapping are turned on in the bottom left. And this is just going to help me keep my plane nicely in line, so I'm just going to move it down a little bit, keeping it in line like so. And then we'll go to our layer menu, make another duplicate. Alpha lock is already turned on for this now, so just grab the third color on the second row, go back to your layer menu and click on this top one and click fill layer to make it darker still. Grab the arrow tool and move it down. Try to space them about evenly. If you did run out of room, we can just go to our layer menu, select all 3 of these so that they all stay the same size. So slide right on all of them to select them all. Click the arrow tool, make sure it's set to uniform, and you can downsize it further and you can move them around more if you need to. Mine ended up right about perfect, but feel free to resize them if you need to. Okay, now we will add our text. Make sure your canvas is straight up and down when you add your text so it doesn't end up slanted or anything. So make sure your canvas is nice and straight. Go to the gear icon, click add text. And I always just drag mine down where I want it first, so before I start messing with it. But then I'll tap on it, double tap to select it all, click on this keyboard here. I am going to use all caps and type adventure, and then return, and then await. Okay, now I will triple tap it to select my whole text. The first thing I'll do is I will left justify it here so it lines up on the left side. Then I'll click this other font to bring up our font menu. And for this top one, I am going to select Kifa, regular. And then I'll just adjust the size down a little bit, increase the tracking a little bit. So my size ended up at about 50 points. I'll do my tracking at about 10%, see if that fits. So I'll just click my arrow and drag it over. It's a little bit too big, so I will go back and double tap it again to select it all. Open it up again and decrease the size a little bit more. So maybe I'll have my size at about 45-ish, somewhere around there. While this is all selected now, or if you need to, again, select your whole text to highlight it, and then we will go to our color palette and we will select the 4th color on the top row to set it to that color. Then I'm just going to click the arrow and I am just going to move it around a little. If you need to turn off magnetics in the bottom left, sometimes it's hard to move things around with that, so feel free to do so. So I am going to set it about here. Okay. Then I'm going to add some more text on the bottom. So let's again make sure our canvas is straight. Go to our gear icon, add text. It's already on my screen and it's already selected, so I'll just go ahead and set it. But again, caps lock, destination. And then we're going to do a colon. And then caps lock still anywhere. And I want it all to be on one line, so I'm not going to click return, and when I downsize it, it'll end up on one line. But you can also put, instead of anywhere, you can put somewhere that you've always really wanted to go, you know, Japan, Hawaii, Disneyland, anything like that. But then I'm going to triple tap it to select it all again, open up our font menu again. Again, yeah, I'll decrease the size a little bit. Maybe we'll end up at about 25. And then I am also going to change the font. to Futura, or however you say that, and bold. And then again, I might even downsize it a little bit more. So let's do about 20 for our size. Or that's how it's going to end up on mine anyway. Yours might always be different since you have a different picture. Your ticket might be a different size or something here and there. And then I'm going to increase my tracking a little bit too, maybe just to like 5%, somewhere in there. And then with it all selected, I am going to click the color palette again to select the fourth color on the second row and fill it in with that. So now we have it all set up. I will click the arrow tool and I will drag it down here, resize it if I need to. I might make it just a little bit smaller because we are going to add a little tiny black stripe on the right side here to just kind of finish things out. So something about like this. Okay, and then like I said, we're going to add a tiny black stripe on the right side of our ticket, just to kind of fill it out a little bit more, add a little something to that side. So let's go to our layer menu, find our main ticket layer here at the bottom of all of our layers. It's already set to alpha lock. Then we will grab the fourth color on the top row, grab our selection tool with rectangle and color fill turned on, and we are just going to start on the outside of the ticket again over here and just cover just the littlest bit of the right side here to add that in, to just kind of fill out our whole ticket now so it looks very complete. And lastly, we're going to add a little bit of a shadow here on our ticket just to make it look a little bit more realistic. So let's go to our layer menu. So we're already on this ticket layer here, add a new layer right above that. Click on it and set it to a clipping mask. Click the N on this layer and drag it up to multiply. This will make it a nice shadowy layer. Grab the second color on the last row and we are going to switch our brush to the soft brush under the airbrushing category. We'll have that set to maybe 30%, and I'm just going to very, very lightly drag this across the bottom edge of my ticket, very lightly. I don't want to make it crazy, crazy dark or anything, but just you can tell a teeny bit of a difference between the top and bottom of our ticket now, the colors. So that's all I wanted to do there. And now we can start adding some effects to it to make it kind of look like it's lifting off the screen. So the first thing that we want to do is set a shadow layer beneath our ticket that we're not going to move, so that when we move everything else, it's still there. So to do that, we are going to go back to our main ticket layer, slide to the left and hit duplicate. The one on the bottom that pops up, select that one. It's already set to alpha lock. Grab the third color on the last row now and go back to our layer menu, and on this bottom ticket layer, click on it and click fill layer so we have a nice darker blue layer there. Now we are going to get all of our ticket layers together so that we can manipulate them all at the same time. So click on this main ticket layer, slide right on all of the layers above it, again leaving our shadow by itself at the bottom, and then click group. Now click on this main group area here so that we have all of our layers selected. So that selects all of them. Click on the arrow tool, click on distort, and our selection is so low because of our shadow layer that kind of exists here even though we can't see it. But now click on distort, and the first thing I'm going to do is just grab this right side, the dot on the right side, not the corners, and drag it straight up so the whole thing kind of moves up like this, just a little ways, and then we're going to click warp, and I am going to drag first this center area, the center bottom area, I'm going to drag down a little bit so it kind of is closer to our main shadow layer. And then I might do my right top corner, I might drag up a little bit more, kind of trying to keep it pretty straight up and down, like so. I might grab the top middle and also bring it back down a little bit to kind of match what we did with our bottom middle area just a second ago. So something about like this. So it's slightly curved and it's slightly up on the right side. Okay. Once you hit that, it might say that your text layers were rasterized. That's fine. That just means we can't edit our text anymore. And then now we will do a similar thing to our shadow layer. So let's find our shadow layer on our layer menu. Click the arrow tool. First we'll do distort. And again, just on the right side. Now we'll drag it down just a smidge. Nothing too crazy. And then we'll click warp and we'll do the same thing. So I'll drag the middle up a little bit closer. We still want to see a little bit of the shadow. And then I might drag my bottom right corner out and out a little bit further like this. If you can see any shadow poking out from this like top circle, we don't want to see that. So you can use your lines here to drag it down so we can't see it, or use your eraser tool. But something about like this. Again, nothing too crazy. And then lastly, to make it look very paper-like, we are going to do an effect that you would have seen if you watched my most recent paper cut tutorial video with the bear outline. We're going to add a little bit of an edge of white to everything to make it look like paper. So to do so, we will go to our main ticket layer, the red and white one, slide to the left and hit duplicate. The bottom one, alpha lock's already turned on. We'll grab the first color on the last row, and then we'll go back to our layer menu. On this bottom layer, click on it and click fill layer so it's all bright white. And then we'll grab the arrow tool and set it to uniform so that we can move it around. And I'm just going to tap with my pen up and to the right a few times until we kind of see this white edge on part of our ticket where it sticks out to make it look a little bit more paper-like. Lastly, let's go ahead and go to our gear icon under canvas, turn off our drawing guide so we don't have to look at that line anymore. We could have done that a while ago, but you know, we'll do it now. And then lastly, we're going to add a layer of noise to everything just to kind of make it look more like vintagey. So we'll go to the top of our layer menu, add a new layer there on top of everything. Go to the wand icon, click on noise. We'll drag it up to maybe 15%. And then I just like to zoom in, and I always like to just kind of increase the scale a little bit so that we can see everything a little bit better. So maybe we'll do like 15% for the scale as well. Then I also kind of like to increase the octaves. You can't really see it very well, but it just adds a little bit more brightness to it and a little bit more movement. So maybe we'll set that to like 30. About right there. So this is what I have. Clouds, scale at 15, octaves at 30, turbulence at 70. That was just like that. And then the noise percentage is 15 when you slide on your screen. So I slid it to 15. Okay. Then we're going to go back to our layer menu, and on this layer here that we just added our noise to, we're going to click the N, and I'm going to drag it up to linear burn for the layer style, and it just kind of makes everything like brighter and darker, and I like that a lot better than the normal that it was at before, where it makes everything kind of washes everything out. So instead, if you set it to linear burn, it makes everything just prettier in my opinion. So that being said, that is the last step of our drawing today. So I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it. So go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching.